Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're literally popping the hood on a seriously cutting-edge tool to see exactly how thousands of years of human history, theology, and philosophy get structured for modern artificial intelligence. You know, we so often talk about AI like it's this magical black box that just instantly knows things. But the reality, it has to be taught. It absolutely needs a structured brain. And today, we're going to look at the exact anatomy of one of those brains. At first glance, the user interface of the Bible Commentary Companion Dictionary kind of just looks like a clean, standard search portal for a study tool. But under the surface, it's a massive, meticulously organized database built specifically to power an AI Bible commentary. It's designed from the ground up to feed highly structured information straight into a machine learning model. To make sense of this massive database, our explainer is going to hit 5 key areas today. First, the AI Bible Companion. Second, dictionary by the numbers. Third, structured for machines. Fourth, mapping people and places. And finally, doctrines, heresies, and philosophy. Let's get right into it. Starting things off with Section 1, the AI Bible Companion, specifically looking at its purpose and scope. The source material puts its goal right out there on the table. It is explicitly designed as a, quote, conservative evangelical companion dictionary to power an AI Bible commentary. And honestly, this is a crucial point to understand. An AI absolutely needs a baseline to draw from, and this specific dictionary provides a highly structured, publication-safe theological framework. It's essentially slapping a very specific set of guardrails onto the AI, so when it generates commentary, it's pulling from a well of knowledge that's been carefully curated and approved by its creators, rather than just, scraping the wild random corners of the internet. Moving right along to Section 2, Dictionary by the Numbers, where we look at the actual scale of the database. Let's talk scale, because the hard numbers here are fascinating. The database boasts exactly 5,219 published canonical entries. In this context, a canonical entry is a core theological term, a historical figure, or a key concept. Think of these as the fundamental building blocks of the AI's vocabulary. Whether we're talking about a specific book of the Bible, a cultural background detail, or a major doctrine, these 5,219 entries, they're the gold standard data points the AI constantly relies on. But as we all know, human language is messy, right? So to keep the whole system clean, there are 181 redirects, or aliases. This just ensures that if there's an alternative spelling or a closely related term, the system points the AI directly back to the correct primary entry. Like if someone searches a weird variation of a geographic name or some highly specialized Greek term, this routing system makes sure the machine doesn't get totally lost and always lands right on the authorized canonical definition. And then, to maintain incredibly strict quality control, they have 94 suppressed or archived rows. These are data points intentionally excluded from the active AI learning model. It really highlights the active curation happening behind the scenes here. Not every single piece of data makes the cut. To make sure the AI stays publication safe, they're actively burying terms that might be redundant, incomplete, or just completely outside the platform's specific theological scope. All right, let's hit Section 3, Structured for Machines, looking at how this data actually gets translated. So here is where the real secret sauce comes in, what the platform calls JSON sidecars. Now, JSON just stands for JavaScript Object Notation. It's a super lightweight data interchange format. But what this actually means in practice is pretty brilliant. While a human user is casually reading a normal study page, the AI is simultaneously being fed this highly structured, machine-readable code running invisibly in the background. It's a dual delivery system, right? A slick, readable interface for us humans and a complex, structured data matrix for the machine. And that JSON system is tied directly to the alias routing we touched on a minute ago. This technical setup meticulously manages all 5,494 total workbook rows. By catching overlapping terms and redirecting them, the alias routing literally prevents the AI from hallucinating or getting confused by duplicate theological concepts. Every single time the AI accesses the database, it's forced down a clean, highly structured pathway, no guesswork allowed. Now for Section 4, Mapping People and Places. Let's look at the thematic bucketing. The dictionary categorizes thousands of individuals using specific tags like person or biblical person, and this spans the entire biblical narrative. It ranges from revered patriarchs and kings, think Abraham and David, to crucial New Testament voices like John the Baptist, all the way down to notorious figures like Jezebel and Judas Iscariot. By applying these rigid tags, the AI actually learns to identify the historical and narrative weight of literally every single character it encounters in the text. And it does the exact same thing for geography. The system meticulously maps out the ancient world using biblical place tags. This allows the AI to instantly cross-reference ancient locations, from the conceptual Garden of Eden to massive empires like Babylon to early church hubs like Antioch, and obviously heavily significant spots like Gethsemane and Jerusalem. So the machine learning model doesn't just understand who is speaking, it knows where they are, linking the raw geography directly to its theological significance.
But here's a really fascinating part. The AI isn't strictly confined to the biblical text. The database also trains it on external historical documents tagged as ancient_near_eastern_background literature. We're talking about ingesting data on the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Enuma Elish, the Amarna letters. It gives the AI a deep, rich historical context, right? It actually understands the cultural air that those ancient writers were breathing, and that makes its generated commentary vastly more historically aware. Honestly, it's how you prevent an AI from sounding like it was literally born yesterday.
Finally, let's roll into Section 5, Doctrines, Heresies, and Philosophy, where we see how it maps out complex ideas. The tool explicitly programs hard theological boundaries for the AI. Instead of just leaving the machine to guess or figure things out, it outright categorizes core concepts, like justification or the incarnation, with a doctrine tag. Meanwhile, it explicitly flags historical deviations, like Arianism, with a heresy tag. It's a fascinating look at how the AI is literally being taught the precise boundaries of conservative evangelical theology, entirely through data classification defined by its creators. Furthermore, the AI isn't just learning strict religious doctrine, it's ingesting much broader intellectual frameworks. The dictionary includes rows and rows of concepts tagged under philosophy worldview. So by understanding heavy-hitting terms like determinism, dualism, epistemology, and existentialism, the AI gets equipped with sophisticated analytical lenses. It can recognize when a modern user is asking a question that's rooted in, say, emotivism, and then address it perfectly using that structured baseline it was trained on. So what's the big takeaway from this explainer? It's that this single companion dictionary is doing something pretty profound. It acts as a massive, meticulously categorized bridge. It's taking 5,494 rows of messy, ancient human faith, history, and philosophical debate, and transforming all of that into a highly structured, machine-readable brain. It is literally organizing the ancient world for the modern algorithmic mind. And that leaves us with a fascinating and maybe slightly provocative question to wrap up on. If we can successfully digitize, categorize, and structure thousands of years of complex, ancient theology into machine-readable JSON sidecars, what other vast, nuanced domains of human knowledge are next in line for the AI treatment? How else are we going to structure our humanity for the machines to read? Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.